I'm sorry. My apologies. Go ahead, Sister Tina.
So I'll start from where in one of the building the will study guides 5, 6, 7, or 8. I can't remember which one. The minister talks about when we bind to him, like the baby binds to the mother by the way of nursing from her breast. When we keep our duty to Allah and connect to him, as the baby draws the milk from the mother's breast, that's the same way the universe opens up to the believer, and it's um, blessings. Whatever we need, it's spontaneous. It comes to us. And so this is by way of bonding with Allah through our connection to him, by way of prayer and keeping our duty. So when you gave your testimony, Brother Lukman, about the fire, even though, you had to go to the hospital, you were not hurt, praise be to Allah, but an extra week was added on to you, a vacation where you didn't know it, but you sure can use it. And so I saw that as that spontaneous blessing. Even though you had to go through something to get it, the blessing turned out better than the trial,
Mm-hmm.
really. And so I had just experienced that yesterday. Um, um, there's plumbing issues with this house. So the plumbing that leads to the sewer to the street, there's issues with it. So when I wash clothes, when I do laundry, the water backs up, but usually it goes back down. So I do small loads. So the water backed up after a small load and it wouldn't go back down. And so I had been putting the laundry off for weeks because I didn't want to chance the water coming up. But it got to the point where the clothes was running me out the house. So I had to do the small load. So I did it and the water backed up and it wouldn't go down. So I called this place where I have this little extra insurance for the outside plumbing. So they sent somebody out and he snaked it out, cleared it right on out. So the water went down. But in the process of talking to the guy to put my claim in, for the work to be done yesterday, I elected to get extra insurance, which covers a lot more: inside plumbing, electrical, gas lines, heating and cooling systems in case that goes down. And it was extra money, but it was something that I can handle and I need. So it was like I just had to I just kept thanking Allah because I did not expect for them to send somebody out that same day, you know, and I did not expect to be able to get a better insurance coverage for my home. Uh, and it all worked out, all because I decided I couldn't take the laundry anymore, get up and do two small loads, so I overcame the difficulty
Mm-hmm.
of going downstairs in the basement and doing what I had to do to get it done. And Allah just blessed me. The universe just opened up and dropped down even more blessings. So yeah, your testimony just reminded me of that, Brother Lukman.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Tina.
Yes, sir.
I'm always reminded of what I would call the parable of Moses and the wise man. And I look at how Minister Farrakhan teaches us that these stories that are in the scriptures, and he called them dramas with characters, and how they represent processes that actually take place within us. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Does everyone
Yes,
follow
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what that tells me is, based on the words of the minister, if the scriptures are dramas that have characters. And these stories represent internal processes. Then to me, if I was to say this in the language of the tech, that the scriptures represent demo kits. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But the thing with Moses and the wise man, and I always try to keep this out front, that when you look at the first trial, Allah sank Moses' boat. The second trial, the wise man killed the child, right?
Yes, sir.
The third trial was the wise man built the wall back up to protect the treasure that the orphan children would receive at the time that they were ready to receive it, correct?
Right.
But now, if you take that same story and you make it applicable to your personal life, see, when you go into the explanation of what those three trials represent, and this is based on the footnotes that accompany that part of, I think it's Surat al-Kahf, the cave, Surah 18, that the wise men explained to Moses that the sinking of the boat was actually a blessing in disguise, because by sinking the boat,
Mm-hmm.
Moses didn't know it, but the wise man knew further into the future. His sight was further, and he knew that the king's navy was going to come through and confiscate the boats for the king's own navy. And that boat was the only means of income that the individual had to produce money for his family. So the wise man sunk the boat so that when the king came through, that boat is already underwater. The king ain't going to mess with that boat. The king will move on. And all the individual had to do is just to pull the boat out of the water,
Come on now.
in the hole, and now he can keep making his money, and the king is going about his business, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So by doing that, the wise man did something that at one time looked negative
Mm-hmm.
eyes of Moses, because Moses' vision was so up close. But what appeared to be negative was actually positive in disguise. And what it teaches is that sometimes a short-term loss is
Come
actually
on.
a long-term gain, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The second trial was that the wise man had to kill the child. And Moses was like, "Oh, this is a terrible thing that you've done. How
Mm-hmm.
how can you kill a child who has not harmed it?" But again, the wise man knew that that child, who
Right.
was one of Bebe's kids,
Yes, sir.
had parents that were righteous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that child was going to grow up and be such a problem for the parents that it might cause the parents to lose their righteousness.
Right.
So we kill the child now, but we've already planned to give them another child that will be righteous like them, right?
Yes, sir. Come on.
And that teaches us that sometimes Allah takes people out of our life
Mm-hmm.
because He already knows that person is going to cause us a lot of trouble and a lot of hell in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Let me cause you a little pain now by removing them from your life, but I have someone else in store for you in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the last trial is that Moses and the wise men went to the home. They were traveling, so I guess travelers at that time would stop at people's home and ask for food and whatnot. And basically, people in the house told them to go scratch. So the wise man saw a wall that was in the process of falling over. So he went over to the wall and he repaired it. So then Moses was like, "Well, dude, it's like they have to give us something now." That's modern translation. You got to give us something now. You fixed their wall. They owe you. So he said, "Here's the parting of our ways," right?
Mm-hmm.
But the moral of that part of the story was sometimes you have to do something, you have to sacrifice and do an act of kindness for individuals that may not even know that you ever done the act. In other words, we can't always do good for the sake of everyone has to see it. Sometimes it's
Right.
good for the sake of doing good, right?
Yes, sir.
But the way that me personally personalize those three trials is
Mm.
sometime in life when certain things happen, if we start with the law or the principle that Allah gives us in the Holy Quran, that if Allah wants us to have a blessing, no one can keep it from us. And if Allah doesn't want us to have the blessing, no one can give it to us, correct?
That's right.
That means in our life, when things do not happen the way we want them to happen,
Come on.
I look at that and say, okay, Allah just sank my boat. He sank my boat.
Mhm.
So there's a couple of examples I'll give along this, but this is setting the stage for what we're talking about. But a couple of years ago, I was number one on the list to get promoted to assistant chief, and
Mhm.
I could taste it. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get promoted, and it just so happened it didn't happen.
Mm.
So instead of me getting upset, I said to myself, okay, why did Allah sink my boat?
Mhm.
Had I had that job, I wouldn't have been able to go to Flag like I did in December. I wouldn't have all the gains I
Mm.
had in the tech. And I would have been giving my energy to the fire department, and I wouldn't have been able to give the same energy to the tech and working to get my mind right.
Yes, sir.
Well, Allah sank my boat. Then Allah just sank my boat yet again because there was another promotion that just occurred. I was next up for the promotion, and I didn't get the promotion.
Mm.
But I said, I looked at that. I know why Allah sank my boat on that one. Because if I got the promotion, I would have stayed at the fire department longer.
Yeah.
I would have stayed. I know I would have. I would have stayed longer
Mhm.
because it's just working at the fire department. It's the greatest job on the earth.
Mm.
But I know, I believe and I know Allah has something bigger ready for me, and that my time here, I've done everything I can do. So Allah sank my boat, but I killed the child in myself whenever this happened. That what that means is overcome the emotion.
Yes.
We have to
Yes.
kill the child in ourselves when things don't go our way. When things don't go a child's way, what do? They kick and they scream and
Right.
they cut up and
Pout.
they act up, they
Hmm.
pout, you know. And it brings me to what I call now a pleasure moment, um, which wasn't a pleasure moment at the time that it happened, but around 1976, 77. At that time, it was me, my mom, and my dad. We went to this store. It was called Grant's in Rotterdam, New York. And there was a Mickey Mouse magic set.
Hmm.
And I wanted that Mickey Mouse magic. And my father said no. And I guess I must have cut up and act a fool. So my father got the magic set for the Mickey Mouse magic set. And I still remember sitting in the back seat on the way home playing with that magic set. But unbeknownst to me, what was about to happen. As soon as I stepped through the door of the house, my father snatched me up and he was about to tear up my behind. I was chewing bubble gum. Sister Sharon, that's funny. I was chewing bubble gum at the time. And you say, oh, that's horrible. The bubble gum saved my behind because I started choking on the bubble gum.
Mm.
My mother snatched me from my father who was about to get in. He was about to get into it and, hit me in the back. My mother was a nurse. And the bubble and that scared my father so bad I didn't get the whooping.
Wow.
So I got saved by the bubble gum. But that story just it popped up. That story just popped in my head. I think about that now, and it's comical. It's so funny. But as
Mhm.
children, if we don't get what we want when we want it, we cut up and act a fool, right?
Right.
All right. But now as adults, when things don't happen the way we want them to happen, if we just look at it as Allah just sank my boat, but he's protecting me from something that I don't see.
Mm.
So let me just kill the child in myself. Let me rise above my emotion into the mind and thinking of God. And then I will realize that, okay, I might not be getting something now, but Allah has a treasure stored up for me down the road.
Yes, sir.
But if I don't control the child in myself, I may never get to the point of receiving that blessing.
Mm.
Does that make sense, family?
Absolutely.
So I try to live that. I try to live that every day. Um,
Mm.
things don't go the way I would like it. I just say, okay, well, if it's meant for me, Allah would have gave it. If I don't have it, it means Allah doesn't want me to have it at this moment in time. Um, but we do know if we're guaranteed luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life, that all of us, if we can just understand that right now our boat might have been sunk, and we know that there's a child in us that needs to be controlled, Allah has already guaranteed us blessings down the road. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
I just went through something like that, Brother Luke.
Mhm. You and someone else, but
Yes.
I kind of got an inkling. There's at least two, maybe three, and that
Mm.
story might be specifically significant.
Yes, sir.
The, did that shoe fit anyone?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
uh,
Sir. Yes, sir.
really? Okay. Let me give the greetings to Sister Angela. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Angela.
Walaikum salam, navigator. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum salam.
And Sister Dora. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Dora.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Blue Quran family.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. So does anyone else have anything they would like to share? And then we'll go ahead and get started with our topic. Anything? Thoughts, comments, concerns, postulates, cognitions, wins, progress. All right. So let me go ahead and pull up my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now, please forgive me if there are grammatical mistakes. I am going to redo this presentation. I literally put this together in the past about 2 hours. There's something in this that was just sitting heavy in my mind. And I wanted to, as always, whenever Allah blessed me to see something in what the minister has taught us, especially marrying the supreme wisdom with the supreme tech, I felt it necessary to at least put something together to plant the seeds by Allah's grace. Um, not fully understanding how those of us that have been blessed to be a part of the Zoom meeting today, the relevance. So only you would know the relevance. So as always, let me begin with the words of the Holy Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It says, and they cannot bring thee a question, but we have brought thee the truth and the best explanation. That's from Surah Al-Furqan, Surah 25, ayat number 33. And then we have revealed the book to the explaining all things and a guidance and a mercy and good news for those who submit. So what I see in that, with the help of Allah, is that if we just really get into the study of our Holy Quran and get beyond the English words and get into the Arabic and understand and get in and do the word clearing in the Arabic, then the book, the Holy Quran, takes on another level of understanding. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it becomes a book of equations. At least that's the way I perceive it, a book of equations. Let's see here. So today's topic is called the sun and its brightness, and it's coming from Surah 91. And we're going to be looking at, a couple of weeks ago, we did ayats 1 through 10, but we did ayats 7 through 10. And again, this topic has been weighing on my brain, so I decided to try to put pen to paper today to make it, to actually bring it a little more into reality. And I'll explain it as we go. The introduction to Surah 91 says this. It's called Al-Shams, the sun. It says, the prophet is the son of righteousness. The word given is title to this chapter, with whose rising the way to perfection is pointed out to man. But only those who purify themselves are really successful, while those who give themselves over to corruption fail to attain the object. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
So when we look at the introduction, it's talking about, and when we discuss specifically ayat number 7, it says, and the soul and its way of perfection. And then number 8 says, and he, capital letters, meaning Allah, reveals to it its way of evil, and he reveals to it its way of good. And then it says, and he, lowercase, and to me that means that's pointing to us now. And he is successful who causes it to grow, and he fails who buries it. Does that make sense? Yes, no? You gotta work with me, family. No one's on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No one's on the screen. Everyone's hiding for some reason. Everyone's hiding. I can't see anybody. Okay. So if you have your Holy Quran, what I'm going to ask you to do is either make sure you have your Holy Quran handy, a dictionary, because we're going to look up some words, or have a means by which to look up something online, because we're going to combine the tech with our teachings, and we're going to go a little deeper into our teachings. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
So Surah 91, this is what we're going to cover, but we're not going to go in depth because I mean, this topic is so ripe. We could probably speak about this for weeks. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. By the sun and its brightness, and the moon when she borrows light from him, and the day when it exposes it to view, and the night when it draws a veil over it, and the heaven and its make, and the earth and its extension, and the soul and its perfection. So he reveals to it its way of evil and its way of good. He is indeed successful who causes it to grow, and he indeed fails who buries it. Now everyone can see that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's put on our thinking caps. If you look at ayat number 1, where it says, by the sun and its brightness, if you have access to a dictionary, look up the word by, B-Y. Look up the word by. Everyone got it? Anyone got it?
I can look it up now.
Okay.
You want the definition?
Yes, ma'am. Read the definition for the word by.
Preposition identifying the agent performing an action, indicating the means of achieving something.
Okay.
So go past.
Okay, read that one more time, please.
The last one?
Yeah, the same thing you just read. Just read the same thing over again.
So it's a preposition identifying the agent performing an action, indicating the means of achieving something, so as to go past.
Okay. So now, Everyone understands the one aspect of the word by, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, an agent performing an action or a means of achieving, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, if you look at ayats 1 through 7, can we say, could we replace all those ands that are there? Could we say, by the sun and its brightness, by the moon when she borrows light from him, by the day when it exposes it to view? Could we put the word by in front of all those sentences?
We could.
It makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, if we look at the first ayat real quick. So, by the sun and its brightness, is it the same as saying that Allah is using the sun as an agent performing an action to teach us the means of achieving something? In other words, is Allah giving us the sun as a demo kit?
Oh, absolutely.
Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you look at the very last part of that, um, in ayat number 7, and the soul and its perfection, could we say, could we say that Allah is giving to us the example of the sun and its brightness to teach us something about the soul and how the soul is perfected?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense, everyone?
Can you say that again?
Okay. So when you look at the first ayat, by the sun and its brightness, we're looking now based on the word clearing of the word by. So now we're saying that Allah is giving us the example of the sun as a demo kit. Does that make sense, Sister Patricia?
Yes, sir.
So the sun in its existence is a demo kit. And then it says, and its brightness. When you connect that to ayat number 7, where it says, and the soul and its perfection, can we say that the sun and its brightness is a demo kit to teach us something about our soul and how to perfect it?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Even
sir.
if you left the ands there.
Right? Sister Patricia, did you follow that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in other words, this now when you look at the word soul in Arabic, the word soul is nafs, N-A-F-S, but it also means mind.
Mm.
Okay. When you deal with soul, spirit, and mind, isn't that equivalent to or synonymous with theta?
Yes.
Now, if we use in mathematics what's called the law of substitution, we can substitute the word soul, since it also in Arabic means soul, mind, or spirit, or personal identity. And in the text, the word theta also represents spirit and mind. Then, based on the mathematical law of substitution, could we say, and the thetan in his perfection?
Yes.
Can we say, and theta and its perfection? Does that make sense?
Mm.
Does everyone
Yes, sir.
follow? Is there anyone that doesn't follow? In other words, has Allah produced a son out there as a demo kit to teach us something about our mind and how we can perfect our mind? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you look at the first seven ayats, those first six, the sun and its brightness, the moon when she borrows light from him, the day when it exposes it to view, the night when it draws a veil over it, the heaven and its make, and the earth and its extension. Those are 6 levels of science, aren't they? Aren't those sciences?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because so if we take by the sun, instead of saying by the sun, can we say the study of the sun?
Yes.
Can we say the study of its brightness?
Yes.
Can we say the study of the moon?
Yes, sir.
Can we say the study of the day and the study of the night?
Mm-hmm.
The study of the heaven and its make, the study of the earth and its all of those are sciences, right?
Yes, sir.
So if
Yes,
we were to
sir.
take the time to convert each one of these ayats into a study of science, if you have something that's science, there has to be mathematics involved, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So then if we were to take ayats 1 through 6, we could convert all of those to 6 different aspects of science, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, does anyone have access to a King James version of the Bible? Anyone have access to King James?
Online.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you can access a King James version of the Bible, pull up the book of Daniel, chapter number, I believe it's chapter number 1.
Chapter 1, verse.
And then go to verse number 3. And then read 3 and 4, if you would.
The one with the king.
Yes, ma'am.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz,
Mm-hmm.
master of his eunuchs,
Mm-hmm.
that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and the king's seed and of the princes. Number 4, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding, science and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, in whom they might teach them the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Okay. I noticed where it says children in whom is no blemish. And as soon as you were reading that, Sister Angela, children in whom is no blemish, I said, could that be equivalent to individuals that are clear?
Children, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Because if you have no blemish, then you have no defects, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
possible.
Now, if you would turn to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20.
6:20.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20.
Okay. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called.
Okay, so the Bible, if you look at the other editions after the King James, they take the word science out. But the importance of the word science is when you have science, you have to have mathematics, correct?
Yes, sir.
And if you have science, then there's no abracadabra, there's no mystery and what ifs. Because when you deal with science, you have proofs, you have um, actual facts, you have equations, you have formula, yes?
Yes, sir.
So the Bible is saying that at a certain time, there's a group of individuals that will be free of they will have no blemishes, and they will gain an additional or a more advanced understanding of science. And as we're reading that and I'm looking at what the minister gave us to study, it seems like it's right in sync with what we have now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sister Andrew, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think you're on your way, so I'm gonna put it down.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how each one of these is a level of science and how we can connect each level of these sciences to the study of the mind in order to understand within our mind the way of evil and the way of good, and how we will be successful if we cause our own mind to grow, and how we are going to fail if we bury it, meaning bury our mind. How can we bury our mind? How do we cause our mind to grow? So we're going to take verses 1 through 10 and turn this into a study of science. Does everyone follow that?
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to acknowledge.
Yes, sir.
Just acknowledge.
Yes, sir.
Brother Ahmad come in. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ahmad.
Walaikum salam, sir. Pardon me.
How are things on the West Coast, brother?
Oh, it's going well. Feeling good today. Working on a project that I love. Glad I made it to this call.
Glad to have you, Brother Ahmad.
Yes, sir. Thank you for continuing the space.
Yes, sir. And we have Brother Craig. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Craig. You might be driving, so you might not be able to come off. Give me 1 second. Let me go. Okay. Let's keep it going. Okay, slide on down. There we go. All right. Overview. So through the study of each of the examples given in these ayats, we can learn about the soul, which is also the mind, and its perfection. Through the study of each of these ayats as a science, we can learn about the way of evil and the way of good. We can also learn how to use our soul, which is synonymous with the word mind, to grow or expand to become successful. We are responsible for our own failures. That's supposed to be when we bury our soul. Does that make sense, family?
Sure.
So whether we become successful, and success is connected to making our soul or our mind increase, expand, or grow, or whether we fail by burying it, that is our own mistake, correct? That is as a result of our own work, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if we were to connect this with, if we were to connect this with the story of the talent, let me pose this question for just a minute. We're familiar with the story of the talent, right? A wise man went on a journey. He gave one person 5 talents. He gave another 3 talents. He gave one person 1 talent. He went on a far journey. And while he was gone, the one who had 5 talents increased it to 10, which means he doubled it. One had 3 talents and increased it to 5, which means he added to it. And then there was one who had 1 talent and did nothing with it and buried it.
Yes, sir.
The wise man comes back and sees that the one who had 5 talents doubled it and gave him blessings. The one who had 3 and increased it to 5 received blessings.
Mhm.
And the one who had 1 talent and did nothing with it and buried it It said the wise man took the one and gave that one talent to the one who had doubled it and sent that person out into utter darkness where there's the wailing and gnashing of teeth. Could that be? Is it possible
Mhm.
that the talent represents our own mind? And by burying our own talent, our own abilities, our own gifts, could that be the equivalent of the one who buried the talent? And if this is based on what was given to us prior to a wise man going on a journey for a certain amount of time, is it possible that this shows us the work that we have to do in the absence of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Mm. That's wild.
And does that show us also the result of what will take place when he returns and finds out
Mm.
that we have not been studying?
Mm.
Connection.
We have not doubled our knowledge. We haven't multiplied our knowledge. We haven't increased our knowledge, but we buried our knowledge.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you see in the verse where it says, into utter darkness, where there's the wailing and gnashing of teeth, well, doesn't that sound like tone 2.0 and below?
Mm-hmm.
So that means if
Wow.
we don't do what we need to do to remove the blemish, to become more advanced in science, that's Book of Daniel and Book of First Timothy. And what are we studying right now? The science of the mind, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if we want to be uptone, hasn't the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that we have to understand what our purpose is?
Yes, sir.
Didn't he say once you find your purpose, it's like love at first sight? And that's called the man and the mission. If you want to go back and study that lecture, the man and his mission, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, we can't be, oh, woe is me in the absence of the minister. We have to work even harder. We either have to double our efforts or increase our efforts, but we can't bury our efforts. We can't say, well, I'm just going to sit and wait for the minister to return. That might not be a good idea.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
I see we have Sister, is that Jeanette Muhammad? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir. That's
Assalamu
Jeanette Muhammad. Walaikum salam, sir. My first time on.
And who invited you, Sister Jeanette?
Sister Angela,
Oh, okay, Sister Angela.
is it okay if I stay on?
Off camera?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
off camera.
That's fine. Either way, it's fine. Either way is fine.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to it. Okay, here we go. So we're going to cover. I'm gonna lay the foundation with a statement. Probably I have to say the most used quote from Closing the Gap, page 312. I'm gonna explain what a demo kit is in case there's others that don't understand what a demo kit is, and then how a demo kit, where in the Holy Quran can we find the concept of a demo kit? We might not get, I know we probably won't get to this part. This might be at another time. What is the mathematics involved in each of these topics? And how is it connected to problem number 13? We'll probably touch on this just a little bit, just to kind of increase the diamond of our thinking so we can increase the circumference of our activity. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
So let's start with the language of a science. So we're going to start with a quote by the Most High Elijah Muhammad. This is page 312 of Closing the Gap. He says, Almighty Allah has taught me that if we study the universe and the nature of the earth, its plants, animals, and insect life, if we study this part of Allah's creation and the natural laws working among them, we will have the key to the understanding of the way of life intended by God for you and me, This is the language of a scientist. Let's focus for a moment on a few of his words. He said, quote, Islam takes for its base the root meaning of the universe for its religion. Exactly what did he say? He said that we are or will grow to be living our lives every day based on an understanding of Allah's root meaning of the universal order of his creation. This implies that we will have studied, learned, and practiced the principles of Islam to the point that we will understand how to live with ourselves and with others in accord with Allah's understanding of his root meaning of and purpose for why he has created what he has created. Now, I just want to stop here for just a minute. If you look at the first paragraph, it says that Allah has taught me the study of the universe and the nature of the earth, plants, animals, and insect life. Then it talks about natural laws. Do we understand what natural laws are with respect to science? Anyone?
You can expound. I think I understand them.
Okay. When you study natural law, that falls under the category of physics. Okay. So we have the different sciences, but when you study the law that is connected to that individual science, we are actually studying the physics.
Can you give me an example of a natural law?
Yes, thermodynamics. It's like when you study heat, okay, like in the fire service, we have to study fire. But not only do we study fire, we have to study the nature of the fire. In other words, how does fire travel through a building? When you study the science, you're studying what, and when you're studying physics, it's almost like you're studying the why and the how. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
May I add an example too?
Of course.
So one that I love right now, I'm working on water because I live in a delta on the West Coast, and it's really incredible to learn the water cycle. Number one, if you're looking at like, let's say you have a small garden, then you look at the global water cycle and you see how water behaves and performs. Even I just learned those words in the context of what Brother Lukman is inviting us to look closer at.
Mhm.
So that's another example that might be touchable, tactile for someone. That's one that always resonates with me, water.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So if you look at the study of water from the level of physics, so if you study water from the study of the water cycle, then you're studying what the science is called ecology, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're studying ecology. Now, when you study as a science, you study ecology. But if you're studying water from the level of physics, you would be studying what's called fluid dynamics. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fluid dynamics. So the fluid dynamics, it actually would teach you the nature of the water. So the ecology is teaching us what the water does. So, we know the water, um, we know how the water cycle is actually in our Supreme Wisdom lessons, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, question number 8. It's drawn up from the earth in a fine mist that the naked eye could hardly detect, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the first part of the water cycle is what we would call evaporation, yes?
Yes, sir.
And then it says that the water is drawn up, and based on the temperature in the atmosphere, then it becomes heavier. It's drawn up in what's called gravitation. It collects, and then based on how heavy it becomes, it distills back, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
That's correct.
the first part is called evaporation. That's the part that draws the water up in a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. As the water gathers in the atmosphere, that's called condensation. And as it condenses in the atmosphere, based on if the currents are real cold or warm or swift and changeable, the water comes back in the form of drops of water or drops of ice, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then once the water hits the earth, it travels through the earth. Then there's a whole nother cycle. It gets to the earth. It gets to certain areas and then and then it gets to a certain point where it evaporates and it begins to cycle again. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. But now that's the science part. But when you deal with the physics, that teaches you a whole nother level. That teaches you the nature of the water. For example, what would be the nature of the water? The nature of water is um, if you have a gallon of water and for whatever reason you leave it in the car, and if you leave it in the car, and let's say you live in New York and the temperature goes below freezing, and then you come out the next morning and the temperature dropped, and then you wonder, why is my seat all wet? What caused the seat to become wet by leaving a gallon of water in a car overnight when it was below freezing temperatures? Because the physics of the water says that when water freezes, it expands, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
But that's when you get into the physics of the water. That's a whole nother level. Okay. So we're dealing with natural laws. And what the Most High Elijah Muhammad is telling us here is when we study the natural laws, this will actually teach us the life that Allah has determined for us to live. And he says that this is the language of a scientist. So, in order for us to grow into becoming scientists, don't we have to learn the language of a scientist?
Mhm.
And in order for us to learn the language of a scientist, don't we have to study science?
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Brother Lukman,
Yes, ma'am.
the law of gravity, that's a natural law, right?
Yes, that's another level of physics.
Okay, another level of physics. And what about the law of cause and effect? That's another natural law. Does that have to do with physics as well?
Well, everything is cause and effect. That's like a universal principle. That's in everything. That's beyond physics. That's at the root of all physics. Everything is cause and effect.
Okay, yes, sir.
There is no effect without a cause.
Mm.
Okay. Let me just stop for just a split second so I can acknowledge Brother Saquon and Sister Ruby. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam,
Alaikum
sir.
salam.
How are we?
Praise be to Allah. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting us. I was just in my gym and my wife came and told me to that we were to chime in. So I appreciate it. So
Yes, sir.
uh,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Typically, what we used to do, we would meet Sunday evenings and Wednesday mornings.
Hmm.
And then my schedule became hectic and I couldn't do the Wednesdays. But now that my schedule has freed up, I'm going to go back to doing Wednesdays. And what we do is Sunday, we get into the Dianetics and the Holy Quran. But on Wednesday, we get into Dianetics and we deal with mathematics, physics, and supreme wisdom lessons in the problem book.
Beautiful.
So
Uh,
that's what we're doing today. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
yes, sir. I can I add on to something?
Of course.
Yes. I would like to say I heard you was going over the what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes,
Mhm.
and you were referring to the water, and as the water relates to us, and sometimes depending on the mist and the current, the atmosphere that we're in
Mm-hmm.
can change us, because we're all water molecules. We all have water in us, so we can become cold,
Mm-hmm.
we can become hot, we can become swift and changeable. Or we can and depending on the atmosphere. So if we figure like if we're water and we want to relate, and I'm relating the water, or let's say the water molecules, to different molecules that are people, but I want to put it as that each water molecule is a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we come around certain individuals that have the same alike energy, then our molecules begin to expand. Or it depends on the molecules that we come across, because we are electrical beings and we send out every energy is like through water. And that water molecule, based upon the what's in the person that comes next to us, it can cause, it's like if you go past a person that has a bad energy and you feel the energy, you say, you might get a little solid to yourself, like, I didn't like that energy.
Mhm.
And or a person that has a fluid energy, then you relate to that energy and it's like a stream and you flow right into them. It's almost like being with someone that has a great light within them. And you have a light too. And together, your light comes together and you shine because both of your energies are congruent to one another. And so if we were not here physically in this physical body, as we know everything is created in water, and water has a great magnitude, if we take our minds back as the beginning, because at one time we were not this physical body. We were just like an atom in water or material but we still related. There still was a communication level. And so it says it draws up into it said the waters draw up to the naked eye can hardly detect. That doesn't mean it's not there. It said the naked eye can hardly detect it, but that means it still exists. So I'm liking that unto the electrical light. Like if a person, like we say, a person departs or they pass away or whatever the case may be, and a physical body is, returned to the earth. But the essence of them is likened unto a starlight, which is an electrical energy. And that electrical energy, which contains water in it as well, sends the energy to us. So those that have departed, we say in the Quran, it says, they're not dead. We perceive them as dead, but we perceive wrong. But they're sending their electrical energy and their charges to us all the time. So we might come up with a thought. We might think it's our thought, but the scientists are sending thoughts to us, those that are alive and those that have departed, because they're still giving that electrical light and it's flowing. So we know that light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So that light that they're sending is like a rays of light, and it becomes like fluidity, like water, and we receive it in our brain because we are electrical beings, and we receive that light from those that are. It's just like I'm speaking to you, but you don't necessarily see me, but you see me through my third eye because I'm sending electrical waves and a frequency to you. And I just wanted to add that. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Thank you, Brother Saquon. We can unwrap a lot. We can unwrap that topic and go even deeper into that. That might be a topic for another time, but you're very correct on that. And I got to make a note because you said something that has given me another topic to go study now.
Praise Allah.
Go ahead, Sister Angela, and then I'm gonna ask you to look up a word for me, Sister Angela. But go ahead. I see your hands up.
Okay, just give me the word right now.
No, go ahead. You had your hand up for something else. Go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to go backwards.
Okay.
Allah brought me back, and the brother that just spoke, praise be to Allah, is kind of bearing witness. Now, we are Trekkies.
Die hard Trekkies.
Yes. I think I watched every episode of all Star Treks. So, the thing that always kept me watching Star Trek, not just the problem solving skills, but it reminded me of us in the nation, or us that Allah came for himself. And Allah is like the sun pulling us in this fine mist that we can hardly detect. And from the first verse that you read about the sun and its brightness, right? The demo kit to me equals the natural law. And if you notice in Star Trek, most of the problems come from what? Insubordination. The way that the instruction is carried out. So it's kind of plain for me to see, with all of our dealings within self, that's the most important thing. And I think we bring what's outside of ourselves too much into our personal space, and it alters the atoms in our body, because we are a perfected entity, or the entity within us, but our bodies too. I mean, there's still, like, I just listened to some scientists talk about, bear witness to Brother Wesley, about melanin.
Mm-hmm.
how valuable it is to not just light life and power, but create creative skills
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to absorb, we've been talking about ether, I think, for 3 days now, and how the sister made it really plain and said it's the fifth element
Mm-hmm.
by Allah's grace and mercy. So it seems to me that the natural law with us attaining to our perfection is accepting our own being ourselves. We were given the theorem in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But given the answer, but like those on the Starship Enterprise that are adding and taking away instead of taking the instruction, we make things more difficult, especially when we get our emotions involved. I mean, come on, on Star Trek, you got an android that got emotional. So we can see how emotions alter our thinking and can alter our being. Just wanted to share that. Now let me know what I'm looking up.
Okay, but before we go, let me address this, and this is based on what you said. The reason, because you said everything's based on insubordination, I thought that was actually funny. Because now it's like I got to go back. I want to go back, of course, and rewatch some of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of mathematics. Sister Tina will be able to bear witness to this. In mathematics, you have what's called the order of operations.
Mm-hmm. Tetanus, right?
It's called PEMDAS, correct? Does
Mm-hmm.
everyone know PEMDAS?
Yes, sir.
What does PEMDAS represent?
Parentheses, addition,
Parentheses, exponents,
bonus, and
multiplication, division,
Order of operations.
Yep.
and
Addi-
subtraction.
Addition and
Please
subtraction.
excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Yes. So the thing is, yeah, please excuse my dinner said. So the thing is,
Right.
you have what's called the order of operations. Now, here's the key. Here's one of the keys of mathematics. You're going to use PEMDAS from arithmetic all the way up to calculus 1, which is called differentiation, calculus 2, which is called integration, calculus 3, which is multivariable calculus, calculus 4, which is differential equations. You're going to use PEMDAS all the way up. And you can't solve any equations unless you follow PEMDAS. PEMDAS, what I call PEMDAS, that's the restrictive law of mathematics. You have to do it in the prescribed manner to get the prescribed results. Does that make sense?
yes, sir.
But see, what we would like to do, and I'm not saying we as in those of us in the room, but just we generally speaking, we as believers or we as disbelievers, doesn't matter. We want to be like Columbus. We want to do things our way with the thought that we're going to get the same results. And that's why we get lost. We're trying to travel west to go east and do it our way. We want to manifest, we want to be like Minister Farrakhan, but we don't want to follow the minister's instructions or algorithms or gradients or how he did it or how he is doing it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Our teachings represent a PEMDAS. There is an order of operation according to the teachings of Most High Elijah Muhammad, and we have to follow it the way that he has prescribed it to us through the example of his best student, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just had to say that one point. Okay, now, it was something in what Brother Saquon had mentioned. Sister Angela, can you look up the word freeze for me?
Yes, sir.
Word freeze. And then before we end our Zoom meeting, someone just say, brother, show us the book that you're going to recommend. There's a book I have I want to share with the believers talking about melanin. Those of us that were on the Zoom meeting on Sunday with Sister Enyame, this is a book that she actually recommended that I've heard. She recommended this book years ago, and I bought this book. And those that missed Sister Enyame, you missed a good one. But it's been posted on the YouTube channel if you want to go see that.
Yes, sir.
You got it, Sister Angela?
I have it.
Okay, so read the word freeze for me. And the different.
Freeze.
Mhm.
Okay. Intransitive verb, to become congealed into ice by cold, to solidify as a result of abstraction of heat, to withstand freezing, to become chilled or cold, to adhere solidly by or as if by freezing, to become fixed or motionless, especially to become incapable of acting or speaking, to become clogged with ice.
Now, for all the Dianetic students, wouldn't that be the same as invalidation?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be the same as an ARC break?
That tracks.
Absolutely.
So when our lessons say some are cold and warm, couldn't that be describing two types of people?
Absolutely.
So when someone's real cold, could that be SPPTS?
I see holders and being stuck on the time track, actually.
Okay, so yes, ma'am, most definitely. So based on the current of the atmosphere, one can become cold or warm. So if the atmosphere is such that low tone, then that person could become a suppressive, yes?
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And then it says some currents are cold and warm. Then it says some are swift and changeable. Now, when the mind is working swift, isn't that like fast moving, quick thinking, right down to the modern time? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Now, changeable. If you clear the word changeable, you're going to come to the word fickle. And if you keep following what they call the chain of words, you're going to come to the word variable. And when you come to the word variable, you're going to come to the word aberrant or aberrated. So based on the current of the atmosphere, meaning our mind, a person can become cold or warm, or they can become swift or changeable. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. It's rich.
So then the study, and I remember the minister teaching this once. I can't remember what lecture it was, but the minister said when you study, I think he said he was talking about the atmosphere or meteorology. He's saying when you study that, you're studying, and I'm paraphrasing it, you're studying what could be perceived as how emotion works. So in the study of meteorology, if you want to apply that to the mind, I'm going to problem number 13 for just a split second. After learning mathematics versus Islam and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it in no limited time, correct?
Absolutely.
But if you can take that, if you look at that as an equation, take out the word mathematics and put in meteorology. After studying meteorology, which is what? Is Islam, and Islam is meteorology. But then you learn what's called what? A meteorological theology, meaning begin to study the science of the mind and the spirit through the demo kit of meteorology. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. May I make a statement since you're there?
Of course.
I I was studying problem number 13.
Mhm.
And the part with the 13 letters, it became it was connected to personality types, which is what you're talking about right now.
Mhm.
It's 13 personality types. And when you put it on the positive and negative side, you got 26, just like the letters in the alphabet.
Mm.
And the thing about studying personality types is that we become like the minister if we're wise. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what atmosphere or tone another person is in, we have the power to change it or at least predict the outcome of a certain personality type that won't phase us. So it's a very powerful place to be in if we use it wisely.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Angela.
Praise be to Allah.
Sister Ania,
Assalamu alaikum.
alaikum salam.
As you were talking, Brother Lukman and Sister Angela gave the definition of freeze, my mind went to, for some reason, called up unstable atoms. And
What's it?
I thought about when you said swift and changeable, and we've talked in the past about not completing assignments, having a lot of incompletes.
Mhm.
And that I likened that to the mind jumping from one thing to another, and getting pulled off track. You start out on one course to accomplish one task, but then in the course of that you see something else that needs being attended to, so you jump over to that, and it ricochets and continues, and you end up going in full circle, and then eventually coming back to the first thing you started and say, oh, this is where I was, this is what I was supposed to have been doing. And so I quickly looked up some information, and here's what it said about unstable atoms. Also known as radioactive atoms are atoms whose nuclei don't have enough binding energy to hold their protons and neutrons together permanently. This imbalance, and then that made me think of the imbalance in the mind. This imbalance causes them to undergo radioactive decay, emitting particles and energy radiation to reach a more stable state. And so it says the unbalanced forces, the nucleus of an atom is held together by the strong nuclear force, which overcomes the repulsive electromagnetic force between protons. In unstable atoms, this balance is disrupted, often due to an excess of either protons or neutrons. So I just thought that was interesting, and another interesting way to look at it. Yes, sir. When you mentioned that swift and changeable.
The reason why I always smile, Sister Ania, when you start talking about quantum physics and protons and neutrons, is because I remember a conversation we had years ago in the Zoom meeting when that was one of the things that you had, I think, a situation with when you were in school. Am I correct?
Yes, with both math and with physics. Yes,
Now
sir.
here we are. It's like now you're right on it, jumping.
Mashallah. I remember that as well.
You remember
Congratulations.
that? And then as you're speaking, Sister Ania, in Buddhism, that's called monkey mind. The monkey mind. The monkey mind, there is something called the wheel of Dharma. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull up an image so we have some mass. But you have this wheel of Dharma in Buddhism, and there are 6 realms of hell. Okay, 6 realms of hell. There's a wheel of Dharma, and then you have what's called the 12. Is it 12? I think it's called the 12 steps of dependent origination. If someone wants to go and look that up and go a little bit deeper into it. It's a cycle of action, basically, of how people stay aberrated. If you look at it, you can line it up with the tech. But we do know L. Ron Hubbard did study Buddhism, correct?
Yes.
And in the wheel of Dharma, it begins, if I'm not mistaken, it begins with and this is all like a picture. I'll pull it up so we can see it. But one part of why people are aberrated or stuck in this cycle is called the monkey mind. And the image is a monkey that jumps from tree to tree to tree, but never gets anything accomplished. And what happens is some of us start this, we start this, we start this, we start this. And then what happens is we have so many cycles of action that we've started. Part of the reason why we lose it sometimes, and we find ourselves sitting on the couch, eating ice cream, watching Netflix in the midst of all these things we need to get done, is because there's so many things that need to get done, we become overwhelmed. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what that is, based on the tech, when you have all these cycles of action started, every time you come into a room, you don't see it, but subconsciously it's like, you know, there's 20 things in this room that you need to get done because you're looking around, you see like, and then you do that exhale, like, oh, damn. And then we get so frustrated, we get overwhelmed, we find ourselves on the couch watching TV. At least, maybe, I guess I'm the only one because no one else is saying anything.
Sitting at home and waiting for that mystery God to bring.
To complete those cycles for us. We're waiting
Come on.
for the mystery God to complete the cycles of action for ourselves. And that's why in the tech, it teaches you, I believe it's in the problems of work. It says that, you know, you have all this instability. Find one thing
Yes.
and change that one thing. After you change that one thing, now find one more thing.
Right.
Find that. Now you find one more thing. Now, some of us, what we do, it's time to clean up the house. So,
Yeah.
so we start in the bedroom. We do this over here. And then we go to the kitchen. We find one thing, then we go in the living room. Next thing you know, we're so overwhelmed, we just, let's do the kitchen first. Then let's do the living room.
Hmm.
Then let's do the bedroom. Then let's do the bathroom. But what happens is now we're traveling all throughout the house. And now he calls it, I think the term is called randomity. There's so much that's involved in the house that it takes us off of our focus. And then we forget what it was. Have you ever gone into a room and you forgot why you went there?
Yes.
Exactly,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like you
And
get
that's,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that's like confusion.
Yes.
So in order to put confusion under control, pick one thing and do it.
Pick one thing and do it. Get it done.
And then
Complete that cycle of action.
yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Let's get back to it. Okay. Next paragraph. We're on page 312 of Closing the Gap. Okay, we read this, but I just want to touch on one point. It says, okay, this implies that we will have studied, learned, and practiced. So here we have a cycle of action. We have to study something. We have to be able to extract something from what we're studying, and then we have to apply it, correct? That makes sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Study,
Make it-
learn,
make it
and
live.
apply. So when you look at our Supreme Wisdom lessons, many of us have memorized the lessons, but we don't know how to make them applicable. We can quote the lesson, but we haven't learned how to apply them. In other words, and I'm saying this not in a way to discredit, and I'm saying this generally speaking, but if we're only studying the lessons to memorize them, and we don't understand how to make them applicable in our personal life, then we become a jackass carrying a book. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
We quote the lessons, but we haven't learned how to find the luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life, how to improve our condition through, we can call them lessons. So you look at the 1 to 14, you can say there's 1 to 14 lessons, but we could also say there's 1 to 14 formulae. There's 1 to 14 equations, correct?
Yes.
Because Minister Farrakhan said that Allah is a scientist who speaks in the language of formulae. A formulae, an equation, and a function are all the same thing. And when you deal with a function, for every input, you get a different output. If Allah is a scientist who speaks in the language of formulae, then one of the first formulae or equations we learn is, why isn't Adele selling the best part of the planet Earth? That's an equation. Memorizing it is the first step. And then we have to understand, how can I use this as an equation to better my condition in anything that takes place in life? How can I apply question number 1 to the study of trigonometry? How can I apply question number 1 to the study of biology? How can I apply question number 1 to the study of mathematics? How many of us are afraid of studying mathematics? If we're running from the study of mathematics, a devil has settled on the best part.
Mm.
If we're not studying biology, a devil has settled on the best part. If we're not studying the problem book, a devil has settled on the best part. Why do you say that, Brother Lukman? Devil means a grafted man which has become weak or wicked, or any grafted live germ from original is devil, correct?
Yes, sir.
So a grafted man is just a man who's been changed from original, and then you get a complete cycle of action. That becomes what? Weak and wicked. With regards to mathematics, why are we running from mathematics? We have been grafted from mathematics. Many of us are afraid of mathematics based on what took place or what we experienced in school, where somewhere down the road, elementary school, junior high school, we at one time may have had a passion for mathematics, but somewhere we were invalidated with regards to mathematics, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did that shoe fit anybody?
For me, it wasn't so much invalidation. It was I moved a lot and I didn't get the core foundation in, look, I can't even call it to mind, decimals, fractions, and percentages. But to your point, that's
right.
Kind of an invalidation, or at least a inconsistent.
So that's an ARC break with decimals, fractions, and that's what you call pre-algebra. So when you deal with for someone to say, well, convert, what is 6% of this number because of what happened, that's your
stress already rising. When you said converted, pardon me, but like I still have a physical reaction to it because I know I have to do the long way and do it the way that I've worked out in my brain, even now at 41 years old. So yes.
Okay, so that's a devil of a different type. That's all. It's still in the language of the tech. You have an ARC break with decimals. You have an ARC break with fractions. So what we have to do is we have to do some mathematical processing. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I'm making a note.
Okay. Brother Saquon, Sister Ruby, and then Sister Sharon, and then we'll keep it moving. Go ahead, Brother Saquon.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, and I hope I'm not, because I don't know if we kind of move forward a little bit, because I kind of wanted to make a statement based upon what the sister was saying. I'm trying to remember, she was talking about, Sister Nia, she was mentioning the imbalance within us and the atoms being unbalanced. Is it all right to speak into that, or we're moving?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. This is the platform to let it out.
Yes, sir. Well, praise be to Allah. One thing I want to say, I know that the minister always said that, they asked him, well, how do you handle, dealing with different people, different personalities, different entities? He said, I bring my own atmosphere.
Yes.
And, we must learn to do that too. But now within our own atmosphere, we have rain, we have snow, we have sunshine. So the atmosphere can be different atmospheres. You can have the atmosphere, but the atmosphere is considered, the whole entire universe. And you have a choice to choose whether you need the snow on somebody, whether you need the rain on somebody, whether you need to let the sun shine on, depending on the situation. And he was mentioning, the imbalance of the, she said the atoms, right? Inside of, yeah, I was thinking of the defense mechanisms of the white blood cells. And I was likening that unto that particular atmosphere on the outside and the inside. And the white blood cells, as we've known, and we can go into the study of it, is a defense mechanism for the body. And my wife always likened to mention the white blood cells as the sisters, the MGT, who feeds us and gives us the proper, nutrients to fight off ailments that come into the body. And when those white blood and when those foreign entities that comes inside our bodies, and I'm trying to relate it to the inside and out, they come inside, the white blood cells go to work. And they do their job. They attack right away. And, and they attack foreign subjects or substances that come into the body, and they destroy them. They dissolve them. And this is what we have to learn to do. But we have to learn to do it with an atmosphere that we don't burn ourselves out, because the white blood cells have a particular job to do. So we have to allow all of our total brain cells to react. And just like you have the different parts of the brain that do different work, even though it's one part. And so we have to be able to know how to decipher things that are foreign to our mentality of going forward and staying balanced. And there's a study guide for the struggle for balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes so deep. So I just want to, you know, when everyone's speaking, it's just sparking me. And I'm just so glad that you invited us, because this is like food for us, you know, it's food for my mind, and I'm growing, and it's helping me to spark my brain. And I didn't expect to get on, you know. Sister Naya invited us. Thank you, sister. We appreciate that. And we're just happy and elated to be amongst, you know, the highly elevated spiritual minds that we have connected to by being on this line. So being on this line has connected us to the mind. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Ahmad, did you have something else you wanted to share with us, or are we good?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it open so I can respond if it's not a distraction.
No, go ahead, brother.
No, in
Okay,
terms of
okay.
my mic, I'm sorry.
So brother, so down the road, if you want to do some work to get rid of those mathematical engrams, let me know.
Yes, please, and I will follow up.
We can. That's the easy thing for us to do to get rid of that.
Thank you, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, let's keep it moving, because wow, time is flying. All right. Let's see. So we're still on page. Okay. Then it says, continuing in closing the gap, it says Minister Farrakhan's study guides and sessions are critical to this growth. Obviously, people are presently living their lives throughout America and every part of the earth according to how they choose. But how many of them are living their lives according to the Supreme Being's perfect understanding of the root meaning of the universal order of Allah's creation, in which they were born and are living their lives? How much longer will he allow this? Not long. We have now enrolled in a new school of the most exquisite wisdom imaginable, which was established here in America to prepare us for a new world, God's kingdom, which is growing to include all the peoples of the earth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we are in the kindergarten of Master Farah Muhammad's wisdom. We are moving upwards in our learning. In this classroom or kindergarten, which has stages that we as a people have gone through from the 1930s to where we are in the present. My aim with this series of articles, Brother Jabril speaking, is to go beyond the fact of the unusually brilliant mind possessed by Minister Farrakhan, is to witness the fact that he was divinely produced for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's use for our benefit, and to show us the way to grow into our divinity. We must learn to use our study time better. Satan continues to publicize useless knowledge that they admit is based on gossip, conjecture, guesses, slanders, half-truths, and outright lies. Let's be careful of his diversions, distractions, tricks, and lies. This is from the article, Closing the Gap, but it's from April 5th, 2006. And I want to give us one more quote, but I want to give us one more example as well. They're constantly, and I fall into this trap a lot. I'm getting out my phone. I play a lot of chess. Those that know me know I play chess like a fanatic. But sometimes, I use my phone to study. And in the studying, I have it in my mind, a set destination or goal of something I'm trying to get to. And then something else will pop up on my phone. And then I'll go steer off and check that out, which leads to something else, which leads to something else, and totally throws off my train of thought. Has that happened to everyone or anyone?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's why we got to stay focused. Now, I want to read to you. This was a statement that was sent to me by Brother Wahid. And it's a quote, and I keep it right here on my wall so I can see this every day. It's a quote by Mother Tanetta Muhammad. And I'll be more than happy to send this to you. Just drop your email in the chat. I'll forward this so you can have this quote as well. But the quote by Mother Tanetta Muhammad says, it says, "We are standing on the threshold of another phase and cycle of our programmatic teachings from the Master. This new phase will focus on advanced training and re-education that will take us into new fields of knowledge with higher mathematical and scientific truths to be revealed in order that we as students can master our assignment." End quote, by Mother Tanetta Muhammad. Any questions, thoughts, comments? If not, we're going to keep moving. We have with us, Sister Sharon, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that quote. So I wanted to back up to what you were saying earlier, and it runs into the quote actually.
The what?
It runs into the quote that you just read.
Mm-hmm.
So with our lessons, in order for us to really take it into heart, we're taught to learn the lessons of Minister Elijah. But we first have to know why. You know, we could quote it, but what's the purpose of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And it's for us to apply to our everyday lives and use it, be able to apply it. And the example that I could use, I had an interview the other day, and I didn't read all of the job description. And I was sitting there, I got anxious, my heart was pounding, the questions they were asking me, I got stumped on 2 questions, and I'm like, come on, God. I'm like, Master Fard Muhammad, show up. You know, so I started pulling my tools out, my lessons, general orders, Dianetic tools. I'm pulling it all out the bag. So in that moment, I was able to apply what it is that I've learned. So I knew it helped me to see the purpose of why I study my lessons is to be able to apply it to my everyday life to get me through this life for the next phase. And the women, we have a duty and a job to help usher in the new world. And that was all I really had. I forgot everything else because I'm again at work. But that was the gist of it. Knowing, and then we have to know how to study. We weren't taught how to study from this world, but we're taught how to study in the Nation of Islam, and that's to pick up our lessons every single day. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would have us so smart from very little study, even just reading one line from a paragraph or a paragraph a day. And you know, we have to stay up on our studies to not lose what it is that we're given from the Master Fard Muhammad. So, yep, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
All praise due to Allah. Thank you, Sister Sharon. You know, just a quick statement, you know, in the 13 rules of instruction, it says lesson number 1 lays the base of our work, then gives the student a clear knowledge of himself and his heavenly home, correct?
Yes.
What lesson number 1 is being spoken of?
Is it Lost Time Muslim lesson number 1?
I don't know. It says lesson number 1 lays the base of our work and gives the student a clear knowledge. What if lesson number 1 for you, Sister Sharon, is Sister Sharon?
Yes, sir.
Sister Angela's assignment, lesson number 1 is Sister Angela. Brother Lukman's assignment is, lesson number 1 is Brother Lukman. Lesson number 1 lays the base of our work today. and gives the student a clear knowledge of himself. It's just something to think about. A what if?
Like student enrollments.
Student enrollment is a part of it. But what if lesson number one is the individual? Knowledge of self, accept your own.
That's exactly what I mean. It doesn't say students. Student enrollment.
Because when you look at Lost Found Muslim, and this is just me, this is how I look at Lost Found Muslim lesson number one now. I look at Lost Found Muslim lesson number one, and this is based on the words. Everything comes back to Minister Farrakhan. Okay. There is a page in it's 7 speeches. In 7 speeches, I got these little quotes I keep on my board. This comes from 7 speeches, page number 7. It says, Messenger Elijah Muhammad has said that all his ministers should study Minister Farrakhan's subject matter and draw from it in preparing their own subjects. So I want to lead with that. But now, with regards to the lessons, I'm basing this on Minister Farrakhan's words, and I always make reference to this lecture. It's called Satan and the Mastery of the Sexual Urges, where Minister Farrakhan speaks about the dramas in the scripture with the characters and how they represent processes that take place within the body. Everyone has heard that before, correct? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if that's possible, if that's true, and it is, then is it also possible that in Lost Found Muslim lesson number one, that our lessons also represent dramas with characters that represent processes that are taking place within us, which would mean within me is a devil that settles on the best part. Within me is a Musa that has a hard time to civilize the devil. Within me is the Columbus that has discovered. So you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, sir.
All those characters or individuals, why does the devil keep our people apart from his social equality? Well, sometimes don't we do the same thing? Don't we keep people apart from our social equality? But sometimes we don't want people to know some of the stuff we're doing in all our affairs, right?
Right.
We got to keep it real because ain't none of us from the wheel, except there's one of us. But the rest of us ain't from the wheel.
Yes, sir.
Sister Angela. No, I'm just messing.
I quit.
Okay. So I look at each one of those lessons as representing different aspects of me. So when I'm looking at that lesson, I have to ask myself, it's almost like using it as a form of processing if you deal with what's called the 4 flows. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you look at question number 3, why did we let half original man Columbus discover the poor part of the planet Earth? And then it says, because the original man is the God and owner of the earth and knows every square inch of it and has chosen for himself the best part. He didn't care about the poor part, right?
Right.
Now, what I learned from that is this. One thing to think about is that in the Supreme Wisdom lessons, there's a best part, there's a poor part, and then there's a worst part. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Almost like 3 levels to the tone scale. Yes? Best part,
Nice.
poor part, worst part. But it's almost like the original man, he knows every square inch of it, but he chose for himself the best part. He didn't care about the poor part, did he?
Right.
And then sometimes, at least from me, my perspective is, I had to really ask myself the question, why did I have to go through some of the crap I went through in my life? Because in order to become God, because it says, why did God make devil? We have to come face to face with devil. We had to come face to face with the poor part in our own lives because we had to know every square inch of this life so that we could make a determination and we eventually will make the choice. Do I want the best part? Do I want the poor part? Or do I want the worst part? We have to know every square inch of it. Every square inch is an idiom, isn't it?
Beautiful. Yes, sir.
I have to know every square inch of life so that I can finally decide what part do I want to settle on.
Allahu Akbar.
Do I want to be like Columbus Do I want to settle on the poor part? Or am now that I have experienced the poor part, because all of us in this room can say there's some things we went through in our life. We're glad we went through it, but we don't want to go through that again. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
So
Yes,
we're
sir.
aware of the poor part, but we're like, no, I'm choosing for myself the best part. I don't care about the poor part. Does that make sense?
That's
Yes, sir.
right.
So each one of those lessons are a formula for living. Memorization is the beginning, because then, like what I do when I drive long distance, I love driving in silence, because as I'm driving in silence, I'm chewing on the lessons. And it's almost as if, and this is not to sound schizophrenic or anything like that, but this is my opinion, my belief. I'm a firm believer. We were told that in a 20-year period, weren't we taught that we're going to be taught by the scientists?
Yes, sir.
Some of us have made the mistake to thinking we're going to be in a classroom and there's going to be a scientist up at the chalkboard writing stuff on a chalkboard. We're going to be sitting at some desk with books and there's going to be a scientist. I don't believe that's how it works. I believe, me personally, whatever we're studying and whatever we're applying our mind to now, since the scientists have the ability to tune in on the thinking of the students, that whatever we apply our mind to, there's a scientist that's going to teach us deeper into what we're studying. That's my opinion. Does that make sense?
We're getting taught now, sir, by a scientist.
By Allah's permission. I'm gonna do a Neo on that one.
Praise be to Allah.
By Allah's grace,
even if not a major scientist, still a scientist.
Just a student. I'm just a
scientist.
Okay. All praise due to Allah. Let's see. This is why we have to get away from social media. It's just a diversion. It's keeping us from tapping into our God ability and our God power. But we gotta move a little faster. What are demo kits? This is going to be brief. What are demo kits? So in the language of Dianetics, or the tech, what L. Ron Hubbard gives us is a demo kit is a collection of various small objects, such as corks, caps, paper clips, pen tops, rubber bands, etc., which can be used by a student to demonstrate an idea or a principle. This is called adding mass to what you're studying so you can see it in 3 dimensions. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Everyone follow? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by moving the objects in the demo kit with its hands, the student can show a concept or action. Such a demonstration provides mass and space and helps the student to envision what he is studying. The basic use of the demo kit is during a checkout to demonstrate understanding. If a student ran into something he couldn't quite figure out, and that's a spelling mistake, somehow that I just copied and pasted that one. But anyway, a demo kit would assist him to understand it. That comes from the Pilot Glossary. Now, so let me summarize this real quick. So a demo kit, if you've ever gone into the Church of Scientology and you're going on course, there's a little bowl and it has all these little things in it, glass beads and buttons and corks and whatnot. So when you come across a concept that you don't understand, part of the reason for misunderstanding is lack of mass. So you use the objects that are in this bowl to demonstrate different aspects of the concepts that you're studying. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're using physical objects to represent mental concepts. Okay. And if you can demonstrate a concept in 3 dimensions, that shows that you understand the concept. And based on my experience, I have learned that by taking a concept and putting it in 3 dimensions, then it almost like it concretizes that concept in my brain. That thought and that concept is stuck in my brain. I got it. It's there now. It makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Let me give the greetings to Brother Jabril. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Jabril.
I'm like, sir.
Is that you?
Brother Craig.
No. I'm looking for. There's a brother Jabril Chris Muhammad that's on the line.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay, brother Jabril, brother Chris Muhammad. Are you there? Just to give us the greetings. Let us know you're there. All right, I'll let it slide for a little bit. So brother Jabril, I'm gonna give you a heads up. One of the rules of the room.
I invited him, brother Lukman.
Okay, she vouched for you. You're good, because when people don't speak, I have to call the brothers that are on search post, and we escort individuals out. Praise be to Allah. Then you're in good company. That's good. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, so that's what a demo kit is. Now, in the past, we were blessed to coin the term that the universe is Allah's demo kit. So instead of using trinkets and glass beads and buttons, when you look at our problem book, my opinion of the problem book is that the Savior has given us planets, universes, planetary systems, atmosphere as demo kits to teach us about what? Our miserable condition in a mathematical way, correct?
Yes, sir.
So everything in the universe is a demo kit to teach us who we are. Yes? Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep it moving. Okay. So everything that we find in the text thus far, by Allah's grace, we can find it in the Holy Quran. Now, where do we find this demo kit in the Holy Quran? Where everywhere in the Holy Quran where you see the word parable, like the parable of the gnat, the parable of the cow. Yes, y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
The word parable in Arabic is mathala, mathala. Okay. So a demo kit from the tech really is the use of objects in 3 dimensions, but you can also use pictures or sketch something that's 2-dimensional that allows you to increase your understanding of subjects, thoughts, concepts, or ideas. Does everyone follow that concept?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Praise be to Allah. All right. The Arabic word for parable is mathala. And I thought it was also interesting that the first 4 letters of the word mathala is what?
M-E-T-H, meth?
Math.
Oh, M-A. I'm pardon.
M-A, yep. M-A-T-H-A-L-A. Not a coincidence. But the Arabic word for mathala means, as a verb, to be similar, to represent pictorially or graphically, to portray or represent in a sculpture. Now, in Dianetics, they have what's called a clay table demo, where they take a concept, you represent the concept in clay, meaning you represent it in 3 dimensions. Does that make sense?
Oh, no. Yes, sir.
And by doing it in 3 dimensions and you're actually seeing the concept, then unless or until you do it, you won't see the significance, but it helps to reinforce what you're studying, to convert what you're studying from short-term to long-term memory. As a noun, it means a parable, a simile, a metaphor, or an allegory. I want to stop here for just a minute because this is really, really significant. In the way the study tech works in the Church of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard has taught that he received this teaching from the Asiatics. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
And if you don't know, now you know. He got it from the Asiatics. Those are his words from a book called The Creation of Human Ability. And the first line of our student enrollment is what? Silence, crickets. Student enrollment.
The original man is the Asiatic black man to make
Okay. Okay. So he's saying that the root or the source of everything we're learning in the tech comes from the Asiatics. So when it says accept your own and be yourself, And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that he found something that belongs to us, right? Yes?
Yes, sir.
If it belongs to us, then wouldn't accept your own also mean to basically follow the instructions to study the tech that really belongs to us anyway?
Yes, sir.
And if you and I accept our own, then we can do what? We can be who?
Ourselves, our beautiful selves.
Then we can be ourselves. The tech belongs to us. Well, how do you know the tech belongs to us, Brother Lukman? Because in page 28 and page 29, the closing the gap, we are taught how Alfonso went up and used some type of a process to remove some demons from a sister who gave birth to the Savior.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, how do you
Yes,
know?
sir.
How do you know he was successful? Because a purified being was produced.
Yes, sir.
And we know that before you can produce a purified being, you got to purify the womb through which the purified being has to come, right?
Right.
Okay. So then you never, if you study science, you don't produce, and I'm saying this on the negative spectrum first, you don't produce a sickness unless you also produce the vaccine, yes?
Right.
So if the black man was to be put to sleep for 6,000 years, then the process of waking him up was already present. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So processing, L. Ron Hubbard brought it to the forefront through his study. But the root of that science comes from the Asiatics. Okay.
Brother Lukman,
Yes, ma'am.
it just makes me think of flicking through the instructions to the laborers, some of the wording there, when you talked about lesson number 1 in reference to that being ourselves. And throughout the instructions, it uses language like, do not take on mixed instructions other than our assignment. Do not do other than yourself. And where else did I see? There were a few others, but
a clear knowledge, maybe. The word clear pops up in our lessons a lot.
But in taking on that assignment and then being given the tech, and some might say that the minister is going away from that which is our assignment, but the tech is given as a tool to help us carry out the first instruction, which was the student must study his assignment, lesson number 1. So that is helping us to study ourselves, right? And isn't that what the tech is all about? If we're the assignment that we have to study, and then further on it says, lesson number 1 lays the base of our work today and gives the student, as you said, use the word clear, a clear knowledge of who? Himself and his heavenly home, coming back to the best part of the earth. And then who is the enemy to him and his nation, and why the enemy and the righteous could not live together, and why was the righteous able to cast out his enemy from where? From himself. And so that's bringing us to the tech being a tool to help us study and complete that assignment. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Anya. There's a lot in our instructions that we haven't even scratched the surface yet. If we took the time to actually do some word clearing, and if you notice, there's some words in our instructions and there's some words and lessons that are capitalized, but based on our understanding, it's like, why is that word capitalized in the middle of the sentence like that?
Right.
But here's another thing to look at. And this is, again, my opinion. But the thought is that the primary language, and this is just my assumption, the primary language of Master Fard Muhammad may have been Arabic, which would also imply, in my opinion, that he thought in Arabic. And that leads me to those key words in our lessons What would those words be in Arabic? And if we clear the words in Arabic, how would that transform the lesson? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it would deepen it and expand it.
And it does, because I've done it. It makes the lessons, it's like the lessons there's in the words of Brother Batin, the teachings of Most High Elijah Muhammad is a fundamental. Now we're dealing with the physics of sound called acoustics. You have a fundamental. You have a note. So we know C, I think it's middle C, is 440 vibrations per second. But contained in that note, there are layers of what's called harmonics and overtones. There are other notes that you don't hear unless your ear is trained to hear those other notes. The teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad is a fundamental. What Minister Farrakhan has done is has isolated the harmonics and the overtones.
Yes, sir.
People want to say that Minister Farrakhan changed the teachings. Those that make that statement don't understand mathematics, and I'll explain to you why. You just struck a nerve with me. I just got to say this. This is for the naysayers. In mathematics, the mathematics of change is called calculus. We've heard of calculus before, right?
Yes, sir.
Some of us, you say the word calculus and we get re-stimulated. Okay. And we think calculus is this most difficult level of mathematics. Calculus is the mathematics of change. Now, I'm going to go through this. Please bear with me, but it's just, I'm here. Don't know why I'm here, but this is where we're going to go with this. When you look at mathematics, you know, we've heard of the X and the Y, right? Variables in mathematics and algebra, X and Y. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
I just lose everyone when I said mathematics.
You said X and Y axis?
When you deal with the X and Y axis, the X represents what's called the independent variable.
Right.
The Y represents the dependent variable.
Yes.
So when you're in when you use X and Y. When you get up to so when you get to a level of pre-calculus, you don't talk about Y now, you talk about what's called f of X. The f of X. Okay. But the point I'm trying to make in this, and this is going to drive right home to Minister Farrakhan to show how our history is encoded in the mathematics. The name Fard, F-A-R-D, is derived from the root word farada, F-A-R-A-D-A. That's the root word in Arabic. But it also means the first one of a pair. Does that make sense? First of a pair.
Yeah.
So now in mathematics, you have what's called the X value, which is independent. That is your input. But that input produces an f of X that is the output. And you use both of these symbols to produce what's called a function. A function is just an equation. Write down these words, do the word clearing. At another time, we'll actually do the math, and I'll show you this. But I want to take a step by step real quick so we can get to the last part of this. The function doesn't change. Here's an example. Here's an example for the students. We know circumference, and this is the example I use all the time because it's easy for us to understand. Circumference equals pi times diameter, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if I say diameter equals 7,926, then what is the circumference? Take out your calculators. If I want to calculate the circumference, I got to multiply 7,926 by pi, which is 3.141.
24,896.
Yes. What does that teach us? That's an equation. If I input one variable, it's going to output the answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but now, let's say, instead of using 7,926, let's say I decide to use the number 3,000. What's 3,000 times 3.141? Come on. Come on, scientists. 3,000 times 3.141.
I'm sorry, I'm filling out a work survey and I have challenges with splitting my brain.
No, I understand, brother. Come on.
I'll get it. Let me get to my calculator.
You got it. That's right.
9,423.
What is it, brother?
9,423.
Okay. So did we change the function? Or did we just change the input to get a different output?
Change the input. Yes, sir.
So we didn't change the teaching then?
No, sir.
We just used the same teaching to get more information, right?
Yes, sir.
Well done.
So when I put in 3,000, then that gave me the circumference of Mercury.
Mm.
Did I change the teaching or did I
No,
get
sir.
an understanding of my universe?
Gained a better understanding.
Okay. So take the number 4,000, multiply it by 3.141. What do you get?
3.141
times 4,000.
12,564.
Did I change the teaching?
No, sir.
I just changed the input to get a more in-depth output. Now I know the circumference of Mars.
Mm.
So the Minister Farrakhan is not changing the teachings. See, in calculus, you change the input and you get a better understanding of past, present, and future.
Perfect
You don't change the equation, you change the data going in so you can extract data with respect to time. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
In calculus, that's called differentiation. That's called extracting a derivative. And in the word derivative, it comes from the Latin word that means derivere, which means to extract something from the river. Well, isn't Minister Farrakhan supposed to take us across the river?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you say differentiation in Arabic? The Arabic word for differentiation is furqan.
Whoa.
So the minister didn't change the teaching. He just knew how to apply the equation with respect to past, present, and future.
Beautiful. All praise is due to Allah.
Individuals who think he's changing the teaching, they're stuck in past. They're stuck on arithmetic. We're trying to get towards calculus right now. They're dealing with a theology of arithmetic, and we want to deal with a theology of differential equations. We want to advance the scientists. We're not dealing with arithmetic no more. Scientists don't deal with arithmetic. They deal with calculus. We're going to strive for the higher levels of mathematics and stop speaking baby language.
They broke two of my low bars.
I kind of flew off on a tangent, but when I hit, not that it was intended that way, but when the thought comes of when individuals and the minister change the teaching, a whole nother side of me comes out. Okay, let's land the plane now.
This is correct.
Land the plane. Okay, so demo kit, Holy Quran. Okay, let me. Oh, don't interrupt me right now. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move. So we're gonna go ayat by ayat. But we're gonna kind of travel very fast. Let's examine each ayat and identify what Allah has revealed as a science to be used as a demo kit to teach us about the different aspects of the mind. Now, God willing, family, we're going to go a little bit deeper into this on Sunday, inshallah. Okay. So we're going to translate each one of these ayats into a science. And then at another time, we're going to deal with the mathematics at that particular level. So everyone can see this, right? So if you have your Holy Quran open, you want to go to Surah number 91, and this is Surah 91, ayat number 1. Now, let me just say this as well. Sir 91. What is the relationship of the word 91 with regards to the number 19? What is the relationship that you can see between 91 and 19? What does it represent?
They have the same numbers.
Same number, except what? What's different?
They're reversed.
Reversed, or a mirror image, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to use these ayats to look into the mirror at ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by the sun and its brightness. So the question here is, what is the study of the sun and what is the study of the sun's brightness? So this would teach us that if the sun is a demo kit, that means the sun is out there 93 million miles away to teach me something about myself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In order to awaken in me the God that I am, or the God that we are, correct?
Yes, sir.
So as I study, go ahead.
Mother Tanetta was given the assignment to study the sun by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And it's interesting. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna share this part with us. But let's look. So the study of the sun. What is the actual word for it? The study of the sun is called heliophysics. Heliophysics. This includes the study of the sun's physical characteristics, its magnetic activity, and its interactions with the solar system via solar flares, sunspots, and solar wind. Does that make sense? So when we look at by the sun and its brightness, and we in the very, very beginning, we cleared the word by, which means through the agency of, or by means of achieving. And then you look at by the soul and its perfection, then what this could be telling us is if we study the sun, then in the study of the sun, if we study, now remember, Minister Farrakhan gave us these two real beautiful points in A Torchlight for America between pages 48 and page 51. He says, put Allah at the center of your study and study every subject as if you're studying an extension of yourself, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
sir. So then in our study of the sun, we have to say, how are the sun and I related? What can I learn about myself through the study of heliophysics? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir.
And the study of the sun's brightness, now you're dealing with what's called luminosity and magnitude. This is called heliophotometry, as well as astronomical photometry. Those are the names of the sciences. Didn't the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say we have to study these things in order to learn the language of a scientist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to give us one quick example dealing with the stars. When a star is coming into formation, it begins to spin and it's gathering mass. It starts out as a nebula, kind of like we start out as an extract of worthless water. The sun kind of has the same beginning. We come from an extract of worthless water. It begins as a nebula. Does that make sense? You've seen this when you're in school. But now you have what's called a protostar. And what happens is the protostar begins to rotate and it's gathering mass from its surroundings. As the mass increases, the core of this protostar begins to condense. And as you increase pressure, when you got heat, when you increase pressure, it causes the temperature to increase. Does that make sense? Anyone here cook with a pressure cooker?
Well, I watch my wife do canning. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the pressure cooker, it allows you to cook things more quickly because you increase the pressure with the temperature and makes it hotter inside than just cooking it on the stove with a pot. Yes, does that make sense? Everyone follow that?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when that core of that star condenses, it increases the pressure. And that star has to hit a certain temperature in order to expand and become what's called a middle sequence star, which is what our sun is. If that protostar does not hit the ignition temperature, it becomes what's called a brown dwarf. Well, what does that got with you and I? As that protostar is gathering mass, that's like us studying. Does that make sense?
Yes. Beautiful. I like the imagery.
So we're studying, we're gathering information, and that's causing us to rotate. We're gathering, we're reading this book, the minister's lectures over here, Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived, Unveiling the Number 19, Farrakhan the Traveler. We're gathering.
Yeah, I don't want to be a brown dwarf.
Yeah, we don't want to be a brown dwarf. All this information comes in, but if we just become a jackass carrying a book, we're like a brown dwarf. We become a star wannabe, or could have been, but didn't. It didn't ignite the God in ourselves so we can become a star, so that we can shine and show our light. Minister Farrakhan said, don't hide your light under a bushel basket, correct? So in the study of the stars, it teaches us something about ourselves. We have to gather the data. We have to learn, but we have to learn how to convert what we learn into sunlight and light so we can give that to other people, because it's sunlight that causes other things to rotate, correct?
Yes.
So then we can become like stars in the crown of the minister. Yes?
Starlight, star bright.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're studying heliophysics, but when we apply heliophysics to the study of God's nature, how it interacts, or God's nature within self, or the study of self, wouldn't that become a heliophysical theology?
Yes.
sir.
Problem number 13. Problem number 13, right? Then wouldn't we have to learn to speak a heliophysics theology in its proper term? Don't we have to learn the language? Because she knows all about you. Who's the she? Ooh, that's a good question. Who's the she who knows all about you?
Universe.
Sister Ava said that the she, the subconscious mind, is feminine.
Yes.
She knows all about you. Well, couldn't we say that might connect to the reactive mind?
That's the woman. She's the recorder.
Wonderful.
Doesn't the reactive mind know all about us?
Yes.
That's a whole nother topic for another time. I won't start going down that road. That's a whole nother topic. Okay? But we got to land this plane. So it says, and the moon, when she borrows light from him. The question is, well, what is the study of the moon? Could the study of the moon be another demo kit we can study to learn something about ourselves?
Absolutely.
And when you're dealing with the moon and its reflection, the fact that the moon gives off light, is that a science? Well, the study of the moon is called selenology. Now, we put that in problem number 13. Wouldn't that say, after studying the moon, which is Islam, and Islam is the moon, it stands true. You can always prove it in no limit of time. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So then could we say there is what's called a selenological theology?
Yes, sir.
In the study of the moon's reflection of light, it's called lunar photometry. So we're given these ayats in the Holy Quran, and remember, some are allegorical, some are decisive, right? But if we can find the equivalent in modern language, in the moon, when she borrows light from it, remember, ayat number 7 says, and the soul in its perfection. So are you telling me that if I study the moon, I can learn different aspects about the soul, which is equivalent to the word mind, and how I can perfect my mind through the study of the moon and how it reflects light?
Wow.
Right.
Does that make sense, family?
Formula. That is formulas.
Okay. And you have what's called the day and the night, because it says in the day when it exposes it to view, and the night when it draws a veil over it. Well, what does that represent in the realm of science? Well, the study of the sun and its effect on the earth daytime is called heliology. Other sciences connected to the sun and daytime are called solar terrestrial physics, meteorology, and climatology. When you're studying the night, you're getting into what's called nocturnal ecology, chronobiology. And I know, Brother Ahmad, I know this is a lot of this is relevant in regards to agriculture. There's certain things that take place during the day that don't take place at night, and there's certain things that take place at night that don't take place during the day, correct?
Yes, sir.
Brother Ahmad, if you're still with us, had to go to the agricultural scientist there for a minute. Okay. And there's something called nighttime atmospheric science. So these are all sciences that, based on at least my perception, Allah has given me these things in the universe to study to gain a knowledge of self. And if I do this, this is teaching me the language of a scientist, correct? Or teaching us the language of a scientist.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we look at the heaven and its make, well, now we're talking about cosmology. We're talking, there's a whole list. I didn't put everything in here because around this time it was like this was like around 9:30, 9:45, so I was rushed for time.
Well, that's a lot, brother.
And I didn't get a chance to get through all of it, but that's what Allah placed on my heart to share with the believers this morning, and that I was blessed to put that together in about 2 hours.
That's beautiful.
But it goes along the lines of what Minister Farrakhan said. Whoever controls the diameter of your thinking, I think he said diameter of your knowledge, controls the circumference of your activity. And if we keep our head limited in the educational system, this is what I wanted to say about that. The educational the system of this world is based on a Western mind thinking. When you look at how the study tech is given in the Church of Scientology, based on what I've studied as far as education is concerned, there's two aspects to the brain, one male, one female. And this is why when you study the ancient teachings, the Mayan, the Aztec, the Olmec, the Dogon, the ancient Kemetic, which we are, that is who we are, we stored our wisdom in the form of pictures. And picture, you're dealing with the feminine aspect of the brain. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Here's why. What I'm sharing is based on a book called The Alphabet versus the Goddess by Leonard Shlain, I think is the name. One part of the brain is considered masculine, the other part of the brain is considered feminine. I'll make this last statement. I just realized what time it is. Let me just make this really quick. Man carries the seed, right? So
yes.
You have the sperm, but then even in the sperm, you have male sperm, you have X sperm, and you have Y sperm, right? Does that make sense? Did anyone not know that? Y'all got to work with me here. I can't see anybody. Did we know that there's X sperm and Y sperm?
Close.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Pardon me. I couldn't get to my mute button.
Okay. So there's X sperm and Y sperm. Male carries XY, sister carries XS. So what happens is if an X sperm hits the ovum, you have XX. If a Y sperm, you have XY. Okay. The right side of the brain, the feminine, is like the womb. The left side of the brain is like the sperm. When we study any concept, we're putting the data into our brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the left brain connects with the right brain, that's like the male connecting to the female. When we begin to think on what we're studying and learning, now we can apply it on multiple levels, right? Like a womb.
Right. In the best case, anyway. Yes, sir.
Okay, the male gives the X and Y, but the woman can produce an offspring of a multitude of colors and characteristics, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In Western civilization, we study things to regurgitate. I tell you this, you tell me back, I give you a piece of paper. I've indoctrinated you, but I have not educated you. Indoctrine is doctrine going in. Educate means information coming out. But in this world, what I give you, you give it back. If you give it back the way I give it, I'll let you pass. But if you try to think for yourself, I'm going to flunk you. So you can't think for yourself. You got to say what I said in the way that I said it and give it back the way I gave it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That's called programming. That's not education. But when you look at the civilizations, the Maya, the Inca, the Aztec, the Dogon, we put our wisdom into pictures. Now, if you go to page 19 of Closing the Gap, one of the ways that the Savior used to teach the believers, he used to teach them in the form of pictures, right? And what Brother Jabril has given us in Closing the Gap is, I think he's quoting, I think it was Minister Farrakhan that's making, well, then, let me deal with actual facts, and this is where we'll end it. It's always good to deal with actual facts. So in Closing the Gap, page 19. It says this. Okay, it's Mr. Farrakhan saying. Minister Farrakhan says, now let's look at the quality of the persons with whom the master first dealt. What was their condition? They were totally in the dark. They were a very ignorant people. Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught them in a language that was the way you teach babies. You teach babies using words that conjure pictures. The picture is not the truth, but the truth is contained in the picture. But as long as the picture remains in the brain, as you mature in understanding, then you can reach into the picture and extract the principle of truth that lies therein. So when you have a picture in the brain, and this is why what happens to us every year during Ramadan, we read the Holy Quran and then we come across ayats, and in our mind we think, how I've never seen that ayat before, but I've read my Holy Quran many times. How did I not see that in the past? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we have if we have our lessons memorized, then every time we go through the lesson, we're going to see something new. In the language of the tech, that's called cognitions, very good indicators, increased ability, correct? Every time we go back through the minister's lecture, some of us, oh yeah, I've heard that lecture before. Well, listen to it again. Because when you listen to it in a new unit of time, you're going to listen to it with a new mind and you're going to see something different than was seen in the past, right?
Yes.
That's how our brains evolve. We have to get away from, yeah, I heard Savior's Day. I already heard Savior's Day. I don't need to hear that again. No, go back and listen to it again. Go back to the beginning, go over it again, pick up whatever additional data you can contact, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. yeah, I got my student enrollment. I got that. Okay, go back to the beginning, go over it again, pick up whatever additional data you can contact. Yeah, I got my actual facts. I know the actual facts. Go back to the beginning. Why? What you're going to experience is when you go back over a certain lesson, you finish it, go back to it, go through it, finish it, go back to the beginning. The same thing that happens with the lesson is the same thing that happens during Dianetic processing. In other words, repeating our lessons is like auditing it. More data is going to come from where? Did that data come from our Supreme Wisdom lessons, or did the data come from within ourselves?
Within ourselves.
This is why we can't keep playing the teachings cheap. Some of us, yeah, I already read Message of the Black Man. I don't need to read it again. When I heard Minister Farrakhan say recently, like I think he said it maybe a year or two ago, that he was reading his message to the black man, it kind of threw me for a loop. Because in my kindergarten understanding, or pre-kindergarten understanding, my thought is, the minister's still reading message to the black man. To me, I'm thinking he's already mastered that. But that was a sign for you and I. There is no stopping in reading the teachings. If the minister still reads the books, what should we be doing?
Come on.
Okay, we have no excuse. The minister's the best example. So, beloved family, that was a quick spur of the moment concept that Allah blessed me to put pen to paper on to share with the believers. But I'm going to expand it, God willing. There's a whole nother level. I didn't get a chance to put it in there today. God willing, on the 7th, the 24th. God willing, Sunday the 24th. We're going to take the same subject, but we're going to go a lot deeper into it, inshallah. So with that being said, I just want to open up the floor to any questions, any comments, and then we're going to call it a day. And then I will, as soon as this downloads, I will put this to the YouTube channel. Go ahead, Brother Ahmad.
Yes, sir. I'm just transitioning now. Just wanted to thank you so I can get ready for a counseling appointment. Thank you. So much resonated today. It was perfect timing, just like every time that I come in. So I give thanks for you, brother. All praises due to Allah.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good day, family.
You too, brother. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Brother Saquon.
Something like Sister Ruby this time.
Ruby.
Praise be to Allah. So much knowledge, so much wisdom. We thank you for blessing us with your knowledge and wisdom from the scientist's mind to your mind, from Allah's mind to your mind, to our minds. And every time you were just talking about the reading and we read it over, there's like hidden messages inside of stuff, but you get them when Allah gives you that download. So you may read it over and study it, but the hidden message will come to you from Allah's mind when it is time to receive. And then we share those messages with others so they can see the messages Allah has given to me or to you or to any sisters or brothers that we may enlighten our mind together. So I give all praises due to Allah for that, those hidden messages in there. And my husband wanted to say something as well.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Islam.
I was just looking up your name in Arabic, and I know you know it because it's your name. But I just wanted to mention that it said, I said, well, this is Brother Luke, man. I said, Luke, man, is a name written as in Arabic. It is a masculine name derived. I'm not going to read all of it, just a little bit. Derived from the Arabic word lukma, meaning morsel or a good mouthful. So I was saying, you said a good mouthful.
That's right.
So I thank Allah, that I know Allah places in the right place at the right time. And I just want to say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I believe someone asked him, I'm just paraphrasing, asked him a question. And they said, they asked him about the student enrollment, who was the original man. He said, I said that when I was a baby.
Yes.
He said, I can write volumes on that.
Yes.
Now, so he was telling us, and what you were saying, that going back into it, you will receive so much information based upon the wisdom that you have grown in. And to have the understanding, you have to go back to that foundation of it. He didn't say that it wasn't necessary. He said, but he can write volumes on it. Then he told the minister, when he told him about speaking about Jesus, he said, brother, don't say it the way I said it. Right. He wanted him to put it. He said he wanted to put it in his words and take it to another level. So it wasn't that he was changing the teaching.
Go ahead, brother.
He was using the information that was oscillating his brain from the foundation of the teaching to take his mind into a higher level. So back in the days, they rode horse and back, right? Horse buggies. Well, we drive cars today. So the minister said that he went over to I don't know where he went, and they was eating, with their hands. And he said, can I get a fork? So I just wanted to add that, and again, You know, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, and my wife and I'm just happy to the sister. I don't know if I said her name right, brother. Whitehead's wife. I don't want to mess up her name.
Well, there's three different variations that we all use with Sister Ani.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just grateful and I'm thankful. And this was so much good food for me and my wife and I. And we're just happy that Allah has blessed you with life, with wisdom, you know, and is giving you the blessing to do what you're doing. And we just thank you and everybody on the line. We pray that Allah can continue to bless us to be, you know, to receive the energy and also to give some energy. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Thank you, family. Thank you, family. Sister Angela.
Yes, sir. Looking, especially you citing that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, reading Message to the Black Man again, that we can call a repeater technique. Or what I'm seeing is a pattern. I was watching a video yesterday and they have created a frequency pattern in the flower of life that interrupts the ether. It gives a synthesized ether. It puts that out. And you know, we're etheric people, beings, fifth element. So when looking at the flower of life, it became what it is because of continuous rotation, circles. Mm-hmm. So it seems that this is the way, and they're discovering not this discovering a spiral, vertical travel of the planets around the sun instead of the linear one. This is the new thing that they're on. So looking at us, when we are into something that we like, or it yields some results, or you know, like the games, the bells and whistles gives us a little dopamine hit. So we continuously go on that game. And I don't know if we realize that we are in rotation. We're rotating, but we're on what frequency? Mm-hmm. Our rotation has to consist of our studies, because that's just the pulse of the universe. The vibration is from the rotation. We just have to clean up the three layers of dead flesh on our brain. That's how we bury our mind. To me, we bury our mind in things that gives us nothing. Mm-hmm. Why do we love the devil? Because the devil gives us nothing. So all of our teaching should be in heavy rotation in our life, so we can yield the results. And as closing the gap, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan cited that Master Fard Muhammad came here to put us on the same level as the scientists that write history in advance. So that is the desired destination. And if we put that in our minds, then we're going to qualify ourselves for those position awakenings.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Angela. Can you look up one last word for me?
I sure can. Yes, sir.
Look up the word plane, Plane. Plane.
Planes of memory. Yes, sir.
Look up the plane.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Lacking ornament, undecorated, free of extraneous matter.
Wait, is that plane, Plane?
No.
Yeah, give me plane, Plane.
Oh, sorry, I got caught in the planes of memory. Okay. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. Shortening airplane, one of the main supporting surfaces of a plane, of an airplane. Mm-hmm. So you read that again. One of the main supporting surfaces of an airplane, a surface in which, if any 2 points are chosen, a straight line joining them lies wholly in that surface.
Keep going.
A flat or level surface. A level of existence, consciousness, or development.
That's right. I want that one right there.
Okay.
So for each of us in our own study, because I don't know what Brother Saquon is studying. He don't know what I'm studying. I don't know what Brother Craig is studying. He don't know what I study throughout the day. But each one of us has our own study.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why our study is important is because when we come together, we're like scientists that bring our part of a mother plane together so we can put our parts of the engine together as family. We
Yes,
don't
sir.
understand why we're studying certain things. Some of us are inspired to study certain things, like, why do I got to study that? But then when you come here and you share your experience, you realize another believer, that was a part that they needed.
Mm.
They needed that. You helped to put a part in a plane for them. Our study is not just for ourselves. Our study is for one another. That when we come together, we all elevate because we're like, oh, I never even thought about that. And another person say, man, I was just thinking that. Like, wow, I never even looked at it like that. But what happens is we leave here and we're on another frequency or on another level, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important. Each one of us, our experience, our cognitions, what's being revealed to us by Allah's grace, that is a blessing for all of us.
Allahu Akbar.
Praise is due to Allah. This is for Sister Jeanette, Brother Jabril. I think Sister Ruby and Brother Saquon might have already shown you this. I just want to show you the YouTube channel real quick, and I want to refer you to this book. And then, wait a minute, who is that? That looked like someone else. Anyway, there's a book that Sister Enyame shared with me. But let me show you. This is for Sister Jeanette, Brother Jabril, Sister Ruby, Brother Saquon. To find our Zoom meetings, all you have to do is go to, where are we here? Wait, let me get this back. Okay. Okay, what happened to my page here? There we go. Let's see what happened. Okay, here we go. So, family, this is okay. So, beloved family, this is where you can find us on YouTube. So here. Let me get this out the way. Can you see my page, family?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sister Jeanette, Brother Jabril, Brother Saquon, Sister Ruby. This is Supreme Wisdom Meets Supreme Technology.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now for about 4.5 years. So here's all of the lectures. If you missed Sunday's lecture is up here. This is where our beloved Sister Nyame came on. But this is some of the topics that we cover. Here's one. Did Mr. L. Ron Hubbard have contact with the wise man from the East, Master Farah Muhammad? And can you reform devil? I've had to go toe-to-toe with some people about this, but this is based on the teachings and what Minister Farrakhan had said. So, of course, that argument was, that was one. But here's all the subjects that we've covered. Okay, so Sister Jeanette, if you want to see some other things we've done, we're right here on YouTube. And last but not least,
Thank you, sir.
very welcome. Let me see if I can show you a picture of this book that I think everyone would enjoy. Let me see if I can find this real quick. So this is called, the name of the book is called Why Darkness Matters. Darkness Matters. Okay. we go here, here, and here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why Darkness Matters, The Power of Melanin in the Brain by Edward Bruce Bynum.
Yeah.
If you're an individual who likes to study melanin and you also like studying ancient Kemetic symbolism, you want this book. Are there any Kemetic students in the room? Study ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet? Okay, this is the book right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's it right there.
Is it in that, can we find it in that free book place?
Oh, let's see. Let's see if we can pull that up real quick. That way I can show that to the believers as well. So if you go to Ocean, okay. Let me walk you through this, family. There's a website called oceanofpdf.com. Y'all see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see if that book is here. Why Darkness Matters. Let's see. I don't see it.
Man, this is good stuff here.
It matters. I'll type in the word Bynum.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, that book is not there, Sister Angela.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have to get to hard.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to. But yes, why Darkness Matters: The Power of Melanin in the Brain. And I'll just say this last piece: there's 12 places in the brain where melanin is. And if you remember the ayat in the Holy Quran where it says, strike the rock with your staff, and from it 12 springs come forth, and every tribe knew their drinking place. There was 12 fountains.
Yes, sir.
Same concept. 12 fountains. That ayat is not just talking about striking a rock and 12 fountains coming forth. That number 12, you can study a certain topic and realize there's 12 aspects to that topic. Sister Angela was talking about the number 13, which is really 12 plus 1. But in the brain, there's 12 sites where melanin flourishes. That ayat talking about 12 in the fountain and the rock, that's an allegory. That represents other things. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right,
So
family.
look, Mom,
Yes, ma'am, Sister Sharon.
while we're on melanin, there's a book that I've been reading. It's called Melanin, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness. And it's a great read. Since you were on, melanin, it's a great read. It's awesome.
Is that the one that has the outline of a person's head on the front with the melanin molecule on it?
Unfortunately, I don't have the hardcover. I mean, the hard copy. It was sent via email, but it says the harmful effects of toxic drugs on melanin centers within the Black human.
I think I have that book as well, so I think I know
Yes,
what you're talking about. Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that will be that'll be, I'm sure, a topic that we'll jump into at another time as well. All right, family. Sister Anya, any last words coming from the quantum physicist over there?
Thank you.
Very welcome.
No last words other than a message to Brother Jabril. Brother, contain yourself over there. I saw your excitement about the oceans of PDF.
Oh yeah, as a whole, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. I got a whole lot of books downloaded to my iPad right now. And how's our brother doing, Brother Wahid? How's he?
He's fine, praise Allah. He's been listening in.
Okay, praise be to Allah. I noticed he called me a couple times the other day. I was still recuperating. So I didn't get a chance to respond to him. I was just recuperating. I'm kind of back up and moving around now.
Yes, sir. And I missed most of Sunday, unfortunately. Had a lot of issues going on in the background. So, but since you said it's up now on the
Yes, ma'am.
On the channel, so I will definitely be tuning into that.
And when I get off the camera, I'm gonna give Sister Enyame another call and see if we can get her to get back on soon, because that was a real powerful Zoom meeting on Sunday.
Yes, please.
So, all right, family. Any information, you can send me an email. If there's any information you need with regards to the text, send me an email. If you just want to get in contact and just talk, a lot of times I'll get believers on the YouTube, on the Zoom, and we just it's like Savior's Day every day. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I make myself available. I enjoy being with the believers. And with that, let us go ahead and close out. And I pray Allah to see us all on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Attention prayer. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thine aid do we seek. Please, Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard thy teachings. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Ameen. Walaikum salam. Happy Savior's Day.
Yes, ma'am.
Happy Savior. Sister Sharon, I'm going to give you a call. I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, Sister Ania.
Yes, sir.
God willing, we're getting on the road tomorrow. We might be coming through that area.
Okay.
On the way down or on the way back. I definitely would like to come through and give both of y'all the greetings.
All right. Yes, sir. We look forward to it. That's you and your beautiful wife?
Yes, we're about the road trip to go down to Florida to start finding an apartment, start getting things ready for this big day that's coming up that I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Is that going to be the new home?
Yes, we're going to be in Florida area, but I have grandchildren in Atlanta, and we're going to be working with Brother Scott in Tuskegee. So we're going to be doing a lot of traveling up around that area.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So,
Allah, safe travels. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, family.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.